Hey you, welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
I'm wife.
And together we're reading the Bible.
Starting with Genesis and eventually ending with Revelations, we're working through every book and offering our atheist 2 cents.
Or shekels.
Yeah, those. We're asking questions and pointing out all the nonsense.
We aren't academics or scholars.
Nope. In fact, when it comes to religion, we really don't know anything at all.
What we've learned so far is that God's a dick.
Oh, he really is, isn't he? If you're interested in how we reached this startling conclusion, maybe start from episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in anywhere. It's all good.
Yep.
Hey wife, we just got a new sponsor. It's Anchor. They must think we're doing something right because they picked us back up.
That's amazing. Want to hear something even more amazing?
Yeah?
I actually know what they are.
You are full of shit. I'm calling your bluff. Tell me about Anchor.
Okay, so Anchor by Spotify is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place.
I'm actually surprised you knew that, but did you also know that Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer?
Yes, because I see you do that on your phone all the time and it looks pretty simple.
It really is, and when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
But I use CastBox.
Yeah, darling, I know you like CastBox. It gets distributed there too, and lots of other platforms as well.
And how much are we paying for this awesome service?
Absolutely nothing.
Coolio! So then we should tell people to download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started?
Yep, do it now.
Husband.
Wife.
Are you ready for a Q&A Saturday?
I am.
Do you know what we're queuing and do you have any A's?
Not a clue.
So what we are queuing is, do you remember when we were like, oh, they keep not killing all the Canaanites even though they were instructed to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a thing.
Really?
That's a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny how we always mention the things that are things.
Yes.
Right?
You can't even argue with that because the phrasing was so bad.
I know, right? Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that today.
Okay, well, let's go talk about it.
Okay. Okay, so the tribe guys, they didn't kill all of the Canaanites. And
obviously.
We commented on it, a bunch.
Yeah, because they kept being there.
And then, the last group, I forget,
wasn't it Dan that had to clear out the...
Yeah. And we were once again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was typical of all the tribes, to fail to completely drive out the Canaanites.
Okay.
It was a thing. But there were reasons.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Not good ones.
I was going to say, because the only reason I can think of is God's not real.
Yeah.
Because,
right. Right.
So.
Well, it does come back to haunt them, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
We aren't there yet. Spoilers, darling.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
But it does come back to bite them in the ass because, when you take over a people and you enslave them,
right.
Guess what happens?
They get pissed.
People don't like being slaves.
Right.
Go figure.
Yeah.
So, okay, for one thing, the last one was Jerusalem, but that was a city that was hard to defend it was easy to defend, hard to conquer.
Okay.
Because it was on a hill. All
right.
And hills are easy to defend.
Sure.
And very hard to take.
Right.
So there was that one, okay?
But not if you got God on your side, which they didn't.
Right. I'm not telling you good reasons. I'm giving you logistical and human reasons.
Oh, you mean this is real life?
Yes. Yes, not Bible, God, canon life, okay?
Got it.
So Jerusalem was hard because it was on a hill.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Also, the people wanted peace at any cost. Which
people?
The Israelites.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They didn't actually enjoy killing them. Sometimes, some of the tribes didn't enjoy killing them.
I was going to say, it's literally in the Bible that they were supposed to kill them all.
But that's God.
Right.
The people themselves, some of them were not keen on outright murder.
Right.
And so that's why a lot of them were let's just live in peace. So that's why in some places the people were not murdered and the towns were not looted. Instead, they were just enslaved.
Got it. Okay.
Another reason is that they wanted wealth. And it was easier to work with the people than to...
destroy them all?
Yeah.
Right.
And
besides, they're going to be slaves, so they can make money for you for free.
And that's the next reason, is that they wanted slaves. They wanted what they called forced laborers.
Right.
And but think of this too, going back to the wealth. Mm-hmm. In addition to the forced laborers, aka slaves, creating the wealth for them, there's also the fact that if they're living in peace with these people, they're not ransacking the town and knocking over buildings. Like it's going to cost them less to rebuild a place if they don't have to knock it down.
Right, right.
And, recreate pieces of art or just whatever, like altars
the
and
infrastructure
stuff.
all stays up.
Yeah, exactly. So, those are main reasons. There's also one more that I felt was the weakest reason of all.
Okay.
So these people have been traveling across the desert for 40 years, right?
Yeah.
So they were not used to living in permanent dwellings.
Okay.
And for more than a generation, they had not had permanent homes. So they weren't keen on moving in. So
really?
Some of them.
Okay.
These are reasons that I looked up that were put forth as to why.
Okay.
And that that kind of makes sense, but it's a weak reason.
Sure.
They were scared of living in a new way.
Got it.
Because it was once they entered Canaan, you're done wandering. You've wandered. Some of these people were born in the desert, right? While they were wandering.
Right.
They've only known that all their life. And then they get into Canaan and you're here now.
Sure.
And that's hard.
I mean, they make it sound like it's easy. It's the land of milk and honey. So.
I mean, right. No, I hear you. And I'm not saying that this applies across the board to all the Israelites.
Right.
But it's much like we say of any group, one representative is not a monolith. The group is not 100% the same in belief and feeling and action across the board. So that's why, some of them made deals, some of them tried to steal the gold, right?
Right.
It was just different for each individual tribe and even within each tribe. So basically what it comes down to, going back into Bible land, is that they were greedy, lazy cowards.
Okay. Yeah.
So, we also had a different question that I'm going to address.
Okay.
And this is just a little short thing. So remember when Joshua took his allotment of land last, and we were like, "Oh, bastard!"
Yeah, he got a freaking he gets his own little castle area or something.
Right, but here's the thing: we actually got that completely backwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this makes sense to me.
Okay.
He went last because he let everybody else pick theirs first, and he was going to take whatever was left over.
Okay.
If he wanted the best, he would have gone first.
Right, but he's still going to get his own large piece of land, it sounded like to me.
But they all put in lots. He drew last. You know what I mean?
Got it, but he wasn't a tribe, he's just a person.
Yes and no. He's a person, but he also has a family,
Right, but that's not a tribe of 23,000 to 60,000 people. That's a family.
Okay, but even at that, he's taking the least of the land, the worst of it.
I mean, as well he should, because it's just a family.
I'm just saying, we made it seem like he was trying to, cheat and take the best.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. He was going last. He was letting everything else get settled before he took whatever was left over for himself.
Well, I feel like he's just a priest. So, he should just get fucking the same thing the Levites.
He should be like the Levites.
Yeah.
Right. No, I totally understand and I totally agree with you. That's not the question I'm arguing, though.
Right.
Our whole position was that he's going first because he's taking the best, right?
Okay.
But no, he's going last because he's taking the best. No, the fact of the matter is he went last because he was taking the worst.
Okay.
And he was actually being humble, and he was.
I don't think getting your own plantation is being humble, though. I guess.
Insofar as taking any of it was wrong.
All right.
You're arguing a fine point. I agree with you. He shouldn't get anything.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, he's going to get some land.
Okay.
So insofar as he's going to take land, he did take care of his people first.
Yeah.
as well he should.
Well, I mean, I suppose, just logistically, if you led them there and then, you took the best plot of land, they'd be like, what's up with this fucker?
Exactly.
I
thought we weren't about, this wasn't about looting and pillaging.
Right.
I thought this was about settling the promised land.
Yeah. So, it probably made more sense for him to take the worst piece.
Sure.
Otherwise, people would be like, let's just, kill him.
Yeah, exactly. But they loved him. And he kept making these kind of decisions that, this is why they listened to him.
Right.
He was Moses' acolyte all those years ago, and then, he led them into the promised land, and then he gave them all the best of the land and took the last for himself. He actually was a decent leader.
Right.
So,
have you noticed, I got to mention one thing just as a general overall thing that I've noticed in Joshua is that there doesn't seem to be a lot of judgment from God based on their actions.
No.
At least not yet.
Right.
And
there is more coming.
Right, sure. But so far, I think it's come up in almost every episode that we've done, except for maybe the, divvying up the lands, but
right.
It's just everything happens and we're like, well, Moses would have got bitched out for that.
Right.
I'm why isn't Joshua getting,
it's almost
smoked?
It's almost like God said, I got you here, now you're on your own or something.
I guess. He seems more absent in this chapter.
Right.
And that I find it
in
odd.
This book.
Yeah, in this book. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah. And I find that a little bit odd.
Well, I think another thing too is Moses was in 3 different books.
Yeah.
And so we got to hear a lot about him. Joshua's only in this one, and his sole thing is getting them into Canaan and settled. That's his sole thing. So we're not going to hear a lot of judgment because he's not moving the people around different places.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
He had a sole purpose of just settling them in.
Yes, that's his job, is to get them into Canaan, get them their land, get them settled, and clear out the dregs.
Got it.
So that would be why we're not going to see as much story across the ages and how God reacted. He doesn't have the same relationship with God.
Got it.
In Bible canon.
Right.
I don't want to come across as I believe all this. I'm just saying insofar as this story is trying to present.
Sure. No, I got you.
Okay, I've got one more small thing.
One more, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay. So remember we were talking about the city of refuge.
Yeah.
Refuges.
Yeah. Correct.
And then you were like, how come there's so many on the east and fewer on the right or whatever, or on the whatever?
Yeah,
west.
there's 3 on the east and then 3 on the west side of the Jordan, and there's so many more tribes on the west side. So
well, that was actually something that I read about. If you look on a map, they were spaced exactly evenly, so that they were spaced such that anywhere you were, you should be able to easily get to a city of refuge.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because the whole point of it is that you should be able to get to one for safety.
So that would make me think that the tribes on the east side of the river got a lot more land than the people inside the promised land.
They did. They got a lot more land, but they were spread out further and there were fewer people. Gotcha. You know what I mean? So they had to have that many to cover that distance.
Got it.
But they also, one of the first things Joshua did when they got in was try to build up more of that infrastructure, which we've read about, but I didn't recall that he had roads built to make sure that everybody could get to these cities of refuge.
Gotcha.
Another thing about it is that, and this is pure speculation on the part of Bible scholars that are more less academic and more religious, if that makes sense.
Sure.
They compare the cities of refuge to Jesus.
What?
You take refuge in Jesus Christ just as you would take refuge in the cities. And these were a safe space that had walls around them. Okay. And, but you have to seek them out on your own. And
oh my God.
Yeah.
They're attributing. I mean, Why do they got to try to bring Jesus into the Old Testament? Like
Everything
it's just
is
not
Jesus.
there. You know, like it's not there.
Well, but some say it is there, though.
I know. But this
Joshua,
is like...
Joshua's name was originally Yeshua, which meant salvation, and then Moses changed his name to Joshua, which means man's salvation.
Right.
So, I mean, some people, and they have a good point insofar as, like, the things that they present. Some people say that, you know, that was parts of Jesus before. It's a way of saying it's the same God in the old as the new.
Yeah, no, I know. They're justifying.
It's apologists.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just bringing this to you that these are things, these are stories, these are arguments that are put forth.
Okay.
And they're interesting.
All right. Fair enough.
So that is our Q&A for today.
All right.
Okay.
Well, so tomorrow is going to be our weekly wrap up, or whatever,
or replay,
whatever you want to call it, and then Monday we will be doing Joshua chapter
21.
21.
Yep.
All
and
right.
next week is our final week of Joshua.
Damn.
Yeah.
We're rocking this.
And I think on Friday will be our summary of Joshua.
You told me the other day we're creeping up on our 200th episode too.
We are.
Which is just crazy.
I know.
So that's pretty cool too.
It's all coming together.
Yeah.
I love a plan that... how does it go?
I love it when a plan comes together.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not G.I. Joe, whatever.
A-Team, come on.
I'm not A-Team
what
or...
the fuck?
Look, I don't know things.
You know all these other movies that nobody knows anything about, and then you're like, then you quote one wrong, and then you get the wrong people, and I'm like, wait, I know this one. This one's easy.
Okay, you know what?
What?
You're right. That's it.
Okay, we're going to end the podcast right there.
Husband.
Yes, wife?
Remember how you told me we're on Patreon now?
Yeah, why?
Because we're starting something new for Patreon members only. Every couple of weeks, we'll cover something in the news, a current event, or something we feel strongly needs to be discussed. And only subscribers get to hear our discussion.
That's right. It's all for our Patreon members as a thank you for their support. Join now for as little as $2 a month to get all of our extra content. Go to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse.
Do it now. Husband, it's the end.
It is indeed, wife.
Tell the people where they can contact us.
Well, they can get a hold of us via our email, which is sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. We have Twitter at sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh, why do you know? Why do you keep doing that? Ugh. All right, we have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and a Pinterest page. But if you really want to get our attention, Twitter's where it's at.
Twitter is where you're at.
Yeah.
And they should also review, like, and subscribe, yeah?
Definitely. Apple Podcasts reviews help us out tremendously. And we also can use your support on Patreon, which is a great place to support us as well. That would be at patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse.
Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.